All right. Welcome to the Non-Stuffy Attorneys podcast. Today, I'm here with Jenn Gore from Evergreen Business Coaching. Thanks for joining
Hi,
us.
thanks for having me. Great to see you.
Yeah. I guess to start with, why don't you just tell our audience a little bit about yourself and all that fun stuff?
Yeah, so I consider myself a non-stuffy attorney. So
Good.
I love the title of the podcast. I started my law firm, Atlanta Personal Injury Law Group, back in 2013. It was a personal injury firm, of course, and I grew it and scaled it over 12 years. It was, on the Inc. 5000 as one of the fastest growing companies in America for 3 years in a row. Had about 40 employees, and I was, kind of developing a national brand and reputation, speaking all over the country on operations and management and branding, and ultimately was approached by a large law firm named Sweet James out of California, and they wanted to purchase my firm. They ended up buying half the shares in my firm, and I became a partner at Sweet James. We had over 500 employees there, so a pretty large operation. And I was running that for a year, and I was a partner in that firm. And then ultimately this year, I ended up selling the rest of my shares after that merger was kind of complete, and exiting and full selling the rest of my shares. And back in 2023, I had started Evergreen Business Coaching as like a side hustle passion project, because I had been coached by so many different people over the years, and I was getting inquiries from smaller firms. Hey, will you help me? So started doing that. And when I sold my firm fully, I decided to publicly announce Evergreen, which really was more like word of mouth. And so now I'm here doing this in my day to day and kind of just enjoying life.
Yeah. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
That is quite the feat. Um, I think I have about a million questions in my mind now. Yeah, for
You can
sure.
see my old billboards back there, right?
That's that's great. Was the plan always to sell?
It's so funny. So this past year, I had to pack up my office, right? So I left everything behind, which was a crazy process. But in doing that, I found the original first law conference I ever went to in 2016. I've saved everything over the years, all the workbooks. And the first thing I ever went to was a workshop called You Will Sell Your Law Firm. And I found my handwriting in 2016 that said, the question is not if, but when you will sell your law firm. And there's only 4 ways to do it. And it was like this whole discussion. And I don't even remember that. But that's how crazy the universe works.
Yeah.
And so at some point, that idea was planted into my mind years ago. But additionally, I went to business school before going to law school, and I come from a very entrepreneurial upbringing. So I think it was always an idea in my mind, like, why build something if it's not sellable?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So was that the only offer you got, or were you kind of shopping it around?
So just another thing I would say, I made the change from the original firm name, which was the Gore Law Firm, to Atlanta Personal Injury in 2017. So that was kind of another inkling that I was trying to make the company an asset that had a trade name.
Yeah.
So I do think that was something kind of ominous. But when I sold my firm, it was not for sale. And this is what I believe in, is that I was approached out of the blue. I was speaking on stage at a conference in Scottsdale. I actually said, I don't know what you're talking about. You want to buy my firm? It's not for sale. you know, like, so yeah, I think a lot of times over my career, things have like come to me because I'm always out and about and I'm like putting myself in environments where opportunities can come. But I mean, I'm 41 years old. I was not out like looking like I got to get out of this firm, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So with our law firm, we we made an announcement to our staff at the beginning of the year that we eventually plan to sell the firm. And you can't have, you can't, they can't own, the employees can't own shares in it, obviously, because it's a law firm,
The
right?
lawyers maybe, but
Right, the lawyers. But we said to our staff that we're going to give 20 to 30% of what we sell it for to them. And we don't know how we'll divvy up, you know, shares, quote unquote, right? But it'll be based off of, you know, position and tenure and their contribution to getting us to where we get to. But once we hit 50 million in revenue, annual revenue, then we're going to be looking to sell it. And that's our that's our plan. And we announced that to all our staff and
did that
everyone.
create pandemonium?
Well, my wife and I, we filmed a video explaining. It's about a 10-minute video. And kind of at the beginning, we're like, okay, so we plan on selling the firm. And we watched everyone's eyes in the room. They're like, shitting themselves. And then we go on to explain, hey, we want everyone to be compensated and all that, right? Yeah. Were you thrilled with what you got for it?
So my initial desire to sell the firm came because I really had admired and respected Sweet James, which was the firm that I ended up selling to. And um, the opportunity to kind of take my firm and take it to the next level, which, now my firm was growing very fast, but now we're one of the dominant players in Atlanta. Like, they put up over 100 billboards when they bought it. I was on the face of those. Like, the growth trajectory was my original analysis is, can I get there quicker to my goals with or without them? And, there's a difference in selling your firm to fully exit and then to maybe stay on and grow the firm. And so my initial idea was, I think that this is an interesting opportunity I need to entertain because they're coming to my market one way or the other. And most people should know private equity and large firms buying other firms, it's coming to your market one way or the other. And so when I looked at it, I'm very growth oriented and like that was very appealing to me. And on the other hand, I had this feeling in the back of my mind for quite a while that I really wanted to do more of the coaching and consulting that I had been doing kind of on the side. And I already had it in my mind that I was going to eventually sell my firm and be doing coaching full time.
Yeah.
I had had many people that had coached me that had told me I'd gone to masterminds like, Jen, this is what you love to do. Right. And I was kind of hitting like a breaking point of like, my love of personal injury law was just not as high as my love of business. And I think it's really important to be really honest with yourself. And that's like an inconvenient thing, right? Like, I'm running a great firm, but like my heart and soul is not completely fulfilled by this. And I coach a lot of people now where that is the reality. And you can deny it, but you'll only be lying to yourself. And so, these are like the conversations you have to have with yourself when an opportunity comes, like, hey, maybe this is a path for me to do what I really want to do sooner.
Yeah.
So my situation may not be like someone else's.
Right. Someone absolutely loves what they're doing. They're practicing. It would be kind of foolish to get out of it. Right. It's like,
Like,
okay.
if you get up every day out of your bed and you can't wait to go to trial, and I have people that I coach like that, or you just love running a law firm, this has been your dream, and you love whatever practice area you're in, then everybody has a different purpose. And I also believe people continue to evolve, and there's chapters. Like, I've gone through so many different versions of myself in my life, and you have to be willing to constantly evolve.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I was thinking about that the other day, how many different versions of myself I've had throughout. It's like, God, so many, it seems like it changes every couple of years almost.
It should.
Yeah, you're right. It should. It should. Um, so okay, take me back to the beginning. So you have a business background.
Yeah. So I grew up, originally from New York.
Where about?
I'm from a small town called Poughkeepsie, New York. It's
Sure.
about an hour and a half north of the city,
It's where the
Manhattan.
groundhog is, right?
Yeah, it's a very old place. Like, it's a place a lot of people go to get away from this New York City. It's like got the Culinary Institute of America, Vassar College. It's a very like academic place, but I grew up in New York, and my parents both work for themselves. My mom cut hair, so she has a small business, but my dad had many businesses, and he was really like what I would consider like a true entrepreneur. Never even went to college, started his first business when he was 18, later went to college, but that was kind of like the temperature of the family I was raised in. My dad had a lot of friends that were business owners, and my dad only had daughters, and I'm his oldest.
How
So I'm kind
many?
of like his son in a way.
How many daughters? How many
Three.
sisters? You got three. Okay.
There's three girls, and I was always with my dad. I was always going to work with my dad. My dad had a big commercial building. He owned apartment buildings. He had, oh my gosh, a variety of different crazy businesses over the years. But, you know, that's all I knew. In fact, when I was a kid, I didn't even realize you could not work for yourself. Like, that was strange to me. And I think, as crazy as my childhood was, that is the greatest gift my parents ever gave me, was the gift of entrepreneurship.
Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't imagine not owning businesses or working for someone else now. Absolutely not. Okay. So at when did you go to law school?
So I went to law school in Atlanta, and my parents had already retired to Florida. So that's why it brought me to the South. And I went to law school, and I knew from the day I walked in that school that I would have a personal injury firm, which I think was an advantage. I was
Why,
in a
why,
really
why?
bad personal injury. I was in a bad crash when I was 19, and my boyfriend had died in a motorcycle accident.
Mm,
So I had like a story that was connected to this. And my dad said, you can run any company and you'll have a company one day. Why not just become a professional? Then you can have a law firm. And I was like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. So I wasn't at the time really connected to what business, just I wanted to have my own business. And this, I felt I had a story. And so I went to night law school, and I worked in a law firm all through law school during the day. And I worked in the library, and I was the student body president. I was just very branding myself from a very like start in law school.
intentionally branding yourself?
Yes. I mean, I used to go to law school like dressed like a professional. I was like, I'm a brand. I'm going to be having a law firm. I need to let everyone know this is what I want to do. I was a marketer in law school. I started a school store. I mean, you could tell just from my who I was, like, okay, this person like really loves business, but they're going to be a lawyer. And at that time, I actually felt like odd, because most people in law school are not business oriented. You know,
No.
yeah. But it ended up being my asset, and I started my law firm the day I got my license.
Did
And
you really?
correct. So, and really the rest is history. I grew that firm with a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. And I hired a business coach at year 2. And I was going to conferences all the time, how to learn how to hire, how to learn how to market, how to learn all these different things. And I was just relentlessly obsessed with these topics. even more so than honestly the legal skill. I felt like I was always a good lawyer. I chose that I would not dedicate my life to becoming, I felt there was either you became a trial lawyer or you became an operator. Those are the like two ways you can go. And I chose to become an operator and acquire the skills there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's smart. Look, you can get plenty of attorneys to do the legal work, right? But there's not a lot of attorneys who have that true entrepreneurship and business mindset and like really wanting to do that. And you said something that that really stuck out, that you were obsessed.
Obsessed.
Yeah. Well, there's a book by Grant Cardone, Be Obsessed or Be Average. You know that book?
Yes.
Yeah. And I think it's totally true. It's like if you're not obsessed with your profession and your growth and just constantly getting better, then you're going to be like everyone else.
Yeah, and I just look back to that time, even now, like growing this new business, I'm like back in that beginning stage, right, of growing a business. And I just never thought about the competition or how hard it could be. Like I was just so excited to like break through some barrier that I, was trying to break through. And I really was not focused on or even knew where my path would go. I was just one foot in front of the other. And I think that is a good way to go about it. Do not become paralyzed thinking about what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of exactly what happened with us. Like, here in our area and in Florida in general, there's estate planning and elder law practices are a dime a dozen. And we have never had attention on competition. Not once have we like been, oh, so and so, right? Even when we hear, oh, these people are charging less than you, or what, I got a lower quote. It's like, okay, whatever, right? We don't give a shit, and it's just they're just not in our universe at all. And I think that the viewpoint, I kind of got that viewpoint. I was selling real estate out in California before we moved here, and my business partner there really taught, like she preached the law of abundance. Like there's plenty of clients to go around, right?
Well, I can tell you from a different point of view now. I see inside tons of firms now. And it's been interesting because now I'm seeing inside way more because now I'm coaching a lot more. And I've seen people in the same markets and I've seen people who think they're competitors. I'm telling you, it's not the reason that they are winning or losing is not because of their competitor.
Yep.
What I see across the board is there's different clients that want to work with different firms for a variety of reasons, different branding, different comfortability, whatever. But beyond that, most law firms are so horrible at intake that if they would just do well at intake, which is one of my obsessive points,
I'm obsessed with intake.
if they would worry about that more than their competition, the reason they're failing or losing or not growing by 50% a year is because their intake sucks. And their competition is not taking their leads. It's their own firm that's ruining their leads.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you see as the biggest offender with intake?
So we could go on a long. The really big things is that, especially in personal injury, you have to answer these leads in real time, and you cannot miss
Within how quickly a web lead comes in, how quickly they need to reach out to them.
under 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah, I say the same.
And you need to have an intake system. And I help people engineer intake systems. That's one of the things that really catapulted our growth is that I was obsessed with intake and I would spend hours redeveloping our intake system. When a call comes into your firm, number one, it should be on a dedicated new client line. That dedicated new client line needs to be watched like a hawk, and the intake manager, or if that's you, the owner, has to watch that obsessively all day. And it should API into an intake software. This is not a CRM system. This is not just any old, software that's for case management. This is an intake dedicated software. And when it does that, I used to think there's got to be a software that does this. This is what I need. Phone rings, it lands on your dashboard like a call center. Web form is filled out, it lands on your dashboard. And when you have that, there's agents, intake people all day long looking at that and literally getting the call and then managing it in that portal so that you never miss a lead. People that have to manually enter a lead in, meaning someone calls, then there's human error. There's tons of leads that never get into your system, which means you can't properly audit it, which means,
now what if they call in, they have to be manually entered in? Okay, tell me.
Your phone rings, it's naturally API'd, that phone number straight into your intake system.
Okay. The phone number, but we're not talking, we're in regards to name and an email address.
Yes, the phone number and the name, but you're going to then manually put in the rest of the data. The good thing is it should tell the marketing source.
Yes, it has to.
And your marketing data will get a lot more accurate. But just that one change will probably recapture 15 to 20% more leads than you have right now. I got the idea originally because this guy that was managing my intake had 5-10 screens open. And he's like, I'm trying to get leads from this portal and this portal and this. And he was overwhelmed and I was seeing him drop the ball left and right. And I was like, there needs to be one place that these all pour into.
So is it what platform do you like?
I like for my clients, Law Ruler. It's a great one.
Okay.
Or Lead Docket is another very popular one. And what I would say is there's some others that I'm not as familiar with. My firm used Law Ruler. There's also some great platforms within software like Litify where they've built that within Litify, but it has to be built out to its highest level. If you go get software and you do a 10% build out, you're only using 10% of the features. It's not going to go the distance. Most of these softwares need a significant build out, and there's an investment of time and money and resources to get it to that point that I see frequently. That's the problem. They haven't really fully leveraged the software.
Yeah. Are you familiar with Zoho?
Yes.
Yeah. So we were using a realtor CRM, we used Salesforce for a year. I had someone try to build it out. This was where we first started. He charged me $20,000 and he did the worst job in the world, didn't do anything. And then we were stuck with Salesforce for a year. We didn't need Salesforce. There was 5 of us.
Too advanced. Yeah.
Yeah. Way too advanced. So then we got this realtor platform that I custom built, right? But it was super limited still. With my sales background, I had learned that follow-up is super, super key.
Chase.
Now,
the chase.
Yeah. Yeah. You do a consultation, they don't retain you, right? Consistently following up with them. We were using spreadsheets to
everyone's doing it. You're not the only one. Actually, it's good that you're even doing follow-up. I talk to people and they're like, yeah, if we don't sign them, we just figure they're too busy.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So we were using spreadsheets, and my follow-up system is we call them, we reach out to them, phone call, text, email, a day after the consultation, 2 days after, 5 days after, 7 days after, 10 days, 15, 20, 25, and then monthly until they tell us to stop or they hire us.
You're one of the first. We believe in the same thing. Now in personal injury, I'm almost more aggressive because we have to convert them in that first 7 days for a higher chance. So we're texting, emailing, and calling every day. And
it's a little different for you guys because
we have this high urgency because it's a new event where your sales cycle is a little different.
Yeah.
In our case, I agree with you wholeheartedly. As a law firm, you can't cold call clients. So once someone gives you that they have made an inquiry into your firm, why would you ever stop following up with them until they say, please don't call me?
Yes, 100%.
The gates have been open. Now you're shutting it? Like it makes no sense.
Yeah, yeah. So we were using the spreadsheets and like this realtor CRM, and then I found out, I started looking, I was like, this is not workable, right? The spreadsheets, it's just like manual entry and all this shit, and things were getting forgotten. So I found out that Zoho could be built out, right? So I found a developer, and it's relatively cheap. It's like $45 a user, right? It's like a month. Um, the initial investment though was like, I mean, this was over 2 years ago that we started building out Zoho. We still have a developer, the same developer, still doing stuff for us on it. But the first year we invested probably 150 grand into the platform, building it out, having like all these call cadences and
Absolutely required. I think that's so smart. And, you know, what I would say is in the chase sequence, like I was talking with a client the other day and they just got an intake software and I'm like sitting there and I'm like, okay, let's walk through this. You may have to develop more statuses than you might initially think. Like the whole purpose is what is the next step on this lead?
yeah.
So like there should be like I had like 40 statuses. It's like waiting on callback from them, waiting on callback from us, like waiting on document. Like you need to know so that you look at that dashboard and you know what is the next step. If you have them in pending, I've seen this before. What is
Oh,
that? Get rid of
what does
that.
that mean? It's like pending. What the
Yeah,
hell does
I see
that?
the worst status is status should trigger action
Yeah.
and people should know what is the next step on this lead. Um, Disqualified. Like it needs to be clear enough that you're not wasting time in there. And then we created automated chase sequences via text and email. So you can create like when they go to this status, now it's going to text them these things like, hey, we were unable to reach you, you know. And we also created where any lead that entered the portal gets an automated text of, hey, we want to make sure we were able to reach you. We saw you reached out to our firm. So those are simple things you can do that automate some of this. I do think human interaction is required. You can't just let it run on text.
No.
That's not
No.
going to do it.
Yeah, totally. Have you heard of Manus?
No.
Okay. So since we're geeking out pretty hard on this,
Intake.
yeah. So Manus, Manus, it's an AI platform. It will literally build what you tell it to build.
Love that.
Okay. So we recently lost our sales manager. Okay. Which is like a major problem.
Fun time.
Yeah. Right. So now who's the sales manager? It's me.
You.
Yeah. And I don't have the time for it, but we want to get I'm constantly pushing to get our closing rate up. Like that's like a driving force. It's like, okay, we know what our average case value is. If we increase the closing percentage, revenue will go up by X amount, right? It's like constantly just like get that up. And so what she was doing a lot was listening in on calls and
Auditing.
yeah, listening in on calls, listening in on intake and consultations. We have non-attorney sales reps. But that takes time, right? To like sit there and listen and then or go and listen to the recordings and then critique it. So I started looking into some AI coaching platforms and I had a couple consultations with some guys and they were very expensive and it seemed like it was going to be tough to like tailor it. right?
Yeah.
And so I discovered Manus, and last week I started building this sales AI coaching platform. So what I did was I've got it connected. We use Ring Central. So it's connected with Ring Central. It's connected with Zoho CRM.
Mm.
Every call is recorded. AI identifies whether it's an intake, whether it's a sales consultation, labels it appropriately, pulls in the deals, the status of the case, of the, where it's at in the pipeline, and then it grades the call. Right, you can listen to the call right from the platform there, grades the call, right, and all these different sales points. It it says what they did right, what they did wrong, and then it gives a correction assignment. And
In
then
real time.
no, it's we have it running every 5 minutes. It's updating. So I would like it to be in real time, where they're literally like, as they're on the call, there's like coaching things like, hey, maybe say this, or okay, you got this objection, say that. I'm gonna see if it can build that out.
So when I was partner at Sweet James, I was running intake nationally, and this is what firms at that size are doing. We were doing it through Zoom. So Zoom phones has these features built in. I'm not sure if Ring Central does, but you can coach on all of these things. You can you know it. You can
In
teach
real
it.
time. In real time.
Yeah, I mean the capability is kind of evolving in real time right now, but I think this is going to be the differentiator between different firms. Auditing has been always difficult to do at a high scale,
Yeah.
but the thing that I also learned was it's not just about the AI sometimes gets confused. It's not like when you rate a call, the calls that I sat in on and saw that were the most problematic are when people lack empathy.
Yeah.
So a lot of what you need to focus the coaching from the AI on is the empathy score.
Yeah. That's rated pretty high in our score.
And also for listening. So if someone's following a script, and in my practice area, they say, I can tell you this call one time I listened, they said, I broke my leg, I broke my back, I was on the side of the road, and I was almost unconscious. And the intake agent then goes to the next question and says, did you drive yourself to the hospital or did you take an ambulance?
Classic.
The guy got so mad.
Yeah.
He's like, ma'am, you know, did you hear me?
Oh,
I broke my back. How am I supposed to drive my, and like you get desensitized in law. That's the problem.
yeah.
That I'm sure in your practice area, it's like you hear things over and over.
Yeah. It's like, okay, we do probate. Like,
Somebody died.
yeah, my husband was murdered 2 weeks ago, and
What's
now,
your email address?
yeah.
It's terrible, but it's so like true that you have to laugh because it's nothing else you can do but cry.
Oh,
Yeah. So how do you work to keep people not desensitized? And we have to do empathy trainings. I hate to say this, but you have to do empathy trainings. I mean, my feedback when I was leading the intake team, it's like, you're not empathetic. And they would say, but I think I am.
would you have them listen
Yeah.
back to their calls?
Let's all listen to Molly's call today. And you tell me whether she sounds empathetic. Here's another one. Banging on the keyboard.
Yes.
Like, geez, someone's trying to tell you a real heart-to-heart story, and it's like brutal.
I know. When I was doing intake when we first started, I was always super self-conscious about the fucking keyboard. And so I would be like, hey, I'm just taking some notes, right? I would like be very clear, like,
Yeah,
Hey,
that's
just
good.
so if you hear the clicking, that's me just taking notes on what's happening. I want to know everything.
Another thing is like, naturally, I think if you're a salesperson or you're an entrepreneur, like you are like a DI personality, like I'm very like, I don't know, there's like if someone tells me something, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's terrible. I have to teach people that they have to say that. So I like came up with some phrases like say, wow, oh my God,
Oh,
I can't believe it. Are you okay? You have to teach people to do these things that may come very naturally to you.
it's funny you said that because this morning I just wrote this thing for intake, right? Because now that she left, I'm now back on the line and I'm hearing things. I'm like, my God.
This is a
And
gift, Joe.
um, yeah, I just wrote like a couple points on like instilling confidence, right? It's like, okay, that prospect's calling you. It's, you need to instill confidence that we can handle this, like for you. Like, hey,
You
someone
called
called.
the right place.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is exactly what we do. I mean, I can tell you 1,000 times I've talked to somebody, they tell me they have a serious injury, and then they go, do you think I have a case? I'm like, yeah, we have to tell them that. You have
yes.
a case.
Yeah. It's like, hey, can you guys draft a trust? It's like,
We do that all day.
absolutely. We do that all day. It is super easy for us. Right. That's literally what I put in this document today that I sent to our intake team. Like, here's some things that you can say. And to me, it's like you said, it's very basic, but it's not super basic for everyone.
No, and um, I think that we are like sales is a natural skill set for some and not for others. And the problem in law firms is people don't realize that the intake team needs to be a sales team.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sales is not a bad word.
Sales is not a 4-letter word.
Listen, everything in life is a sale. I mean,
Everything.
people
Everything.
don't realize that, you're selling yourself constantly to opportunities, to jobs, even getting married. You're selling yourself to somebody, everything is a sale. And if you're not good at sales, I would encourage you to think about all the ways that's probably showing up in your life.
You're not going to get what you want in life unless you're good. Look, if I want to go to this particular restaurant and my wife's like, I want to stay in, like I need to sell her ass I need to sell and close her, get her dressed, get her in the car and
You
get
know,
her there.
here's the reasons why, I think it's also the power to influence and take command. One thing I will say is when you look at a sales conversation in your law firm, the person who has control over that call, and this is also something that I didn't realize until we were listening to the calls, there's somebody on the call who's in command.
Yes.
You notice that?
100%.
If your salesperson is not in control of that call, you lose the sale because the person is running them around
It
and you have to have command.
Yeah, it really happens at the beginning. So we heavily drill. That's one of the rubrics in the AI coaching grading system that I put in is the introduction. And you really gain control in the introduction. Where what we preach is, okay, you introduce yourself, who you are. Okay, I'm a non-attorney salesperson, yada yada. Here is our unique selling proposition, right? This is who we are as a firm. And then can I ask you some questions? Right? Just saying, hey, can I ask you some questions? You're right then and there, you are now establishing control. It's like, I'm going to be the one that's figuring shit out, not you.
If you don't have that, or sometimes you have a client that's kind of a renegade, they've taken off. It's like, hello, okay, I hear all your questions. I'm going to rein us back in. There's a reason I'm going to ask you these questions in these order, like this order. There has to be a level of being assertive.
Yeah.
Because one thing I see a lot of is you get a lot of people that come from customer service that want to come work in intake. And I would tell people this is not a customer service job. Customer service is dealing with people that are angry and de-escalating them, right? You are taking somebody who's calling in with a complaint and you're getting them to like simmer down. You're not getting them to make a decision. An intake person or a salesperson has to take someone from A to Z to sign a contract, to pay money. You have to have the ability to command and influence and get somebody to a state where they're going to take a step. That is a different skill set. I still think, the value of a de-escalation is valuable, but that is not the skill set of a sale.
You're right. You're right. The communication level that's necessary to de-escalate a situation is definitely needed for a sales rep, right? They're in an intake. They have to have a high level of communication ability. So how are you choosing and how are you finding intake people?
I mean, it's funny. I think that in personal injury, we're dealing with people who can manage crisis and are comfortable. Like we've had 911 operators, we've had people that understand, like highly empathetic people, people that can endure and want to help and get some type of rise out of really getting people out of, a difficult situation. The high empathy people, people who have that more dominant personality that can get somebody over the line to making, I mean, we're signing people on the phone. So confidence, I mean, I
Were
think
you guys
those
were you
skills.
guys trying to get them to sign on the initial call?
Correct. 90% in personal injury, got to sign them on the first call. I'd like to sign them in the first 15 minutes.
I love that.
But again, you're not getting any money. So this is the easiest sale in the world to me.
Right.
A harder sale is when you have to get someone to depart with cash.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what we're dealing with here. And we charge highest rates in our area. We intentionally do that for several reasons, but
So are you setting appointments then?
yes. So we've kicked around and our HR director wants us to, he would like our intake people to turn into salespeople, and just have just,
In your practice area, I see appointment setters and closers, and they're
yeah,
two different people. And you're trying to get people to appointments, and then there's a fall through rate, and then there's the people that are at the appointments, and then the close rate with the closers. And I think that's just a very different sales cycle. You have the opportunity to create urgency, where my people in personal injury, they already have urgency, just like criminal law. In your case, sometimes it's important to have the time between those two, a little bit of time, so that you can sell them with some information that creates urgency when they show up to the appointment.
yeah, yeah, that's true. That's one area where we're lacking right now is the time between the intake and the consultation. We have a marketing plan on it, that is being worked on now. Hopefully in the next few weeks it'll be ready. But yeah, what he was wanting, our HR director, is for the intake people to turn into salespeople and to just do their own intake and then just sell and close them right then and there.
Everything's a test.
Yeah.
I test things all the time. Let's see your theory. What's our conversion rate? We look at all of our qualified leads. How many of them convert under this model or this model? I'm not married to whichever one it is. Let's just find the best one.
Yeah. To get there though, for us is to even test it is a significant investment.
Why?
We have to have enough sales reps to handle that.
Okay.
Yeah. And to train a sales rep for us is a little bit of a runway.
Because they got to be able to actually close.
Yeah. They have to know enough about the services and be able to answer questions appropriately and stuff like that. So it's a little bit of a runway. We're talking about probably probably 3 to 4 months. If we hired a new sales rep right now, probably 3 to 4 months before we're giving them full consultations.
So I think if you found really, really good salespeople, it would probably be shorter than that.
You're probably right.
Um, I had a coach and a mentor years ago who told me, for many people, you should not get into the legalities at the sale.
Yeah.
Because like if you were to hire me, I've never done trust or law, right? I think I could sell people, but I wouldn't bank on legal knowledge. I would bank on, do you have a problem that we solve?
Yeah.
Yes, we solve it. We were not going to take you through the sausage factory right now, but I can promise you that this is the service that we're going to do. And when you onboard, we will get into all the details of that.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
But that's the thing that I think holds a lot of people back, is that they think that you have to almost over deliver in the sale. And people will ask very specific questions. And I think you should have some basic knowledge, like some information, so you appear credible. But unfortunately, I think too many people give away too much in that initial sale in like your practice area or mine. And it's truly guessing until you get the documents, until you get all of this. I would say you're going to ask me questions that until we have a certain volume of documents, I'm going to be just guessing. So I don't want to do that. Let's just wait until, how much is my case worth? Anybody that tells you that at this stage is lying.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. we have a mastermind group we have a marketing company, and for our clients, we hold a bi-weekly mastermind. We just had it today at 1. And I was telling somebody they were kicking around getting a non-attorney salesperson. And I said, look, attorneys tend to over-explain shit.
Yeah.
They just like,
they want to tell you all the reasons. Now you're so overwhelmed. It's so complicated that you're just like, I don't even want it.
Yes.
Please.
Well, not only that, but they tend to use nomenclature that, that
Yo, what's nomenclature for the lay people on this audience?
Nomenclature is like the specific term, like specific terminology for a profession. So they'll use legalese, and the general public has no idea what the fuck they're talking about. And then they go blank. And, when people don't know that's when a buyer doesn't buy. If they don't fully.
And they're like, so can you help me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, your trust is going to be really complicated. In fact, I'm going to have to probably go talk with the judge. It's like, okay, now I'm stressed. I don't even know if I want this.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So you have a mastermind for probate firms?
No. So we have a marketing company. So we have the law firm, and then we have a marketing company, Non-Stuffy Attorneys Marketing. Separate business in the same building. We have like 14 or 15 employees, something like that for there. And for our clients, for our attorney, we do marketing for all practice areas. But for our clients, we hold a bi-weekly mastermind group. Yeah.
I have a question for your clients, meaning these are law firm clients?
Yes.
And are they mostly in certain practice areas?
Most of them right now are in estate planning, elder law. I think it's around 50% are in that, but then we do, any and every. It's mostly just been our own marketing who we've targeted. Like we've done marketing targeting like estate ads for estate planning attorneys, and we've done it for family law, and right. And then we've run ads for all practice areas, just attorneys in general. And those ads suck. We get we get like junk leads. And so we really just we focus our marketing efforts on a few practice areas, but We do it
Yeah.
all.
So how have you navigated running all these businesses?
We have a title company too.
Yeah,
I don't,
serial entrepreneur here.
yeah, yeah. Um, so the way we started the marketing company, I had hired 3 different marketing companies from our, right?
I know where
And
this is going.
you know where this is going? Well, we were doing direct mail, and I was a sales rep for Postcard Mania direct mail company for about a year, and I saw that it actually worked. If you did it in enough volume and you did it consistently, it worked. So we were doing direct mail and it was very successful, but I wanted to get more leads, obviously, and direct mail is expensive and ROI is not as high as digital. So hired 3 different marketing agencies. They all sucked. They did. We would get leads, but the quality was real hit and miss. It was tough to get in touch with them. And I fired each one. I had kind of given up on it. I personally had, after I fired all 3 of them, I said, fuck this. Like, I'm smart. I'll learn it. Right. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos, and in a month I dumped, it was like 20 grand into Google ads. And I shit you not, I got 0 leads.
Zero.
0. And I was like, well, that was a failure. And so I had pretty much given up on it. And someone introduced me to a guy named Ryan Tanner, who's local here. And Ryan convinced me to give it another shot. He's like, hey, let's just dump like 3-4 grand a month into it, and let's see what happens. Well, Ryan was the complete opposite of the other marketing agencies. Like, I would get emails from him where he would be like, hey, I noticed that the cost per lead was going up, so I did X, Y, and Z. Now it's back in normal range, right?
Music to your
It was
ears.
like, okay, now somebody's actually handling it, right? The other ones, they were just like setting it up and it was just on autopilot for them. But he was like proactive. Him and I became,
What it takes, to be honest. Let's just
yeah,
say, having worked in firms and having my own firm where we had in-house, they have to sit in these accounts all day long, and they have to be um, like negative key terming things. Like, let's say a word starts kicking up, you have to step in and like say, no, don't give me more of that. And if you're just setting and forgetting, it
forget
doesn't.
about it. Yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. So, our ad spend is very high, and he charged a percentage of ad spend, and started looking at it. I was like, hey, I tried to recruit him to just come work for us, right? Close up your own business. And he was like, look, dude, you've gotten me so many law firm clients, like because I'd see him in Facebook, and yeah, just refer tons of people to him. He's like, I'm now like an expert in this space, and the business is really growing. And I said, well, why don't we partner together?
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah. And so we did. And we hired a CEO for that company. Amazing, absolutely amazing. Super, super sharp, just on it. And we're all really aligned. So my role there is more business development, and we have put people on posts that are better than we are.
That's
Right.
good.
It's like find the people who are better at doing that job than you are. Put them on and let them do the work, and monitor the KPIs like hell. And their KPIs need to reflect their production. And if their stats are going up, then hey, it's all gravy. If they're going down, then we're all over them. And so when you ask, how do I manage these business, that's really what we've done for both the law firm and the marketing company, is just put the right people in the right seat, let them do their fucking job. Don't harass them, but manage by statistic.
Yep.
And that's the only way you ever know if things are improving or not, is the cold hard numbers and actually tracking it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the problem, is so many law firms don't know where their leads are coming from. They don't know how their marketing channels are producing. They don't have consistent conversations with their marketing vendors. When they come to those meetings, they don't have their own data. I think any marketing company that is not asking you what's happening at the conversion side, they want to talk all the time about leads. We don't care about leads. We want to know how many are qualified. Okay, you did this ad. It got us 10 qualified leads and we signed 8 of them. That's the conversation that you need to be having, not we got 60 leads. Like, okay, but what if none of them were qualified? You know?
Right. Right.
You have to be able to push back. And something that I did in my space in personal injury, I feel like we have a lot of really good marketing agencies because it's so competitive.
Yeah.
And that's probably why we didn't end up doing our own. We found some great people over years of struggle, but I always went into the relationship with the vendor as a partnership. And too many people want to just abdicate their total responsibility to the marketing vendor. I'm sure you see this now having your own agency. They just want to go, you figure it out. And it's like, there are things that you should be doing on your side to make it easier. There's data that you should be providing. And there's a level of engagement that's required from the owner.
Yeah. So like we have the viewpoint, okay, with marketing companies, the marketing company's job is to deliver qualified leads, right? They can't do the intake, they can't close the cycle, right? And we didn't really like that. We're like, okay, Ryan, myself, Nick, who's our CEO, and we have the viewpoint that we're fully responsible for the condition we're in. Okay. Good or bad in all aspects of life. I'm fully responsible for my condition. So when we start looking at our clients, okay,
You're not finding that mentality? What a shock.
Well, no, we still did. And I think that's what separates us from other marketing agencies is we sat in my office here so many times weekly and have our executive meeting and we reiterate over and over, we are fully responsible for our clients. And so how do we help them? Right. Okay. Their intake
now help them close, which is the problem.
Yeah. Like our intake. Okay. Their intake fucking sucks. They're terrible at sales. Right. It's like we're delivering. Okay. They just got 12 qualified leads yesterday and they didn't convert any of them.
They didn't even call them.
Right. Yeah. We had one guy. Oh my God. We had one guy tell us, I want to cancel. This isn't working.
See, right? The reason why you're taking your approach is because then these law firm owners, which I deal with, I'm coaching them, they then want to fire you. That's the reason why your company has, I mean, I talk about this concept with every marketing company. They get so frustrated on how intake is managed.
Yep. Yep. So I've created several courses. I've created a on-demand course on intake, right? A course on sales, on social media. They're all about 3 hours in length each. It forced me to write this book, which is getting published here. This is Mastering the Art of Law Firm Intake and Consultation.
Great.
Yeah. And so we did all the, we do all those things. We provide the tools. We do the mastermind group, right? These are all things that are just included for our clients to get them to take more responsibility, right? So, okay, how can we be responsible as a marketing company? Okay, get our clients to take more responsibility for the things that they are.
Because then they will convert more and they will ultimately be happier. And then they'll want to spend more because they're now having success. But it's a lot of effort.
It's a ton of effort, right? But I have the firsthand experience, so I'm speaking from experience when I create these courses and write this book and the masterminds and all of that. But then, we've recently taken it even a step further with Ryan has built out some pretty incredible AI platforms where it's like pulling the transcripts of the intake calls and, we're monitoring, cost per lead, right, with AI. And it's like, okay, do we need to add more negative keywords? Do we need to leave the campaign alone? Right. It's like, do we need our different zip codes producing better than others? And it's just like, when you have, hundreds of clients, it becomes very difficult to manually do that. But with AI, it's now every day, every couple hours, we're able to see what's happening on a pretty grand scale. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool.
I mean, I think you're on the same bandwagon as me, is that if there's one place people could invest in, it's their intake. And I think a lot of people want to do more marketing. And it's like, please don't do any more marketing if you're not even answering the 12 leads that just came in.
Yeah, we had that guy. We had this guy who called up and said, I want to cancel. This shit's not working, blah, blah, blah." So every single time anytime someone wants to cancel, we do a full audit. And it was like 2 days prior, he had 15 calls, 12 of them weren't answered. And we were like, dude, what's going on?
I literally am like notorious for when we're out with our friends or at these masterminds. My favorite thing to do is to like, it'll be like 10 p.m. and we'll start calling each other's law offices. And it's really funny what happens. Like, a lot of people don't have good after hours. Then we like test how long it takes for someone to call back. But yeah, the good news is if you get better at this, you'll be in the 5% of
Right.
law firms in the United States.
I tell people that all the time. I was like, look, if you just answer your fucking phone all the time, have a good intake, right? You will crush your competition because the bar is so low.
And I'm going to tell you, large law firms you would think, oh, they're doing great. I mean, I'm
They're
telling
not,
you,
huh?
there's large law firms that I remember one of my mentors. I go, hey, let's call your firm. He goes, oh, my intake's great. I go, okay. This is a firm over 100 million. We were in a call circuit for 8 minutes. There was smoke coming out of his ears.
How are they doing? How are they being successful? How are they $100 million?
Volume-based firms that do mass TV, mass media, all of this. What I can tell you from all the years of being mentored by many of them is that the marketing is just so good that it kind of, what do they call it? Like rising tides hide all the bodies.
Yeah.
Like
They just have so many leads that it just doesn't.
and there's a mentality, unfortunately, in large firms that the agents are like, if I miss this, there's another lead coming. Where when you're smaller, like really every lead matters.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
also will tell you, Joe, there are firms that I have talked with who the mentality is very old school. They'll call back. I'm
Yes.
such a good lawyer. They'll call back. That's not a mentality that is going to serve you in 2026. This is a very competitive day and age. And I think that may have worked 20 years ago. It doesn't today.
No. And it's a lot of instant gratification right now, right? Attention spans are much shorter with social
I
media.
can order something off Amazon and it'll be here in 4 hours. You think I'm going to wait for your law firm to call me back? And now I've got to keep that mental energy of you're on my to-do list.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Don't want to do it.
No way. And that's where follow-up too comes in, right? It's like we preach all the time, like, hey, with the follow-up, these people are busy, right? They don't answer your call today. Okay, they might answer it tomorrow. Like,
I think one of the starting points of this mentality, though, is many law firms, including my own, were started on referrals. Was your firm started on referrals?
no, we had just moved. We
So
didn't
you
know
didn't
anyone
have
here.
like word of mouth referrals or networking.
We started the firm. We moved in July of 2019. My wife took the Florida bar March 13th of 2020. Dude, we literally got on a
Right
plane.
before COVID.
We got on a plane that day to go visit friends in California for 10 days, right? And there was 5 people on the plane. We were like,
This is
this was the day that it was like
COVID.
really starting. We got out there and the world just started shutting down. And we were supposed to be out there for 10 days. I started worrying that the airlines were going to shut down. And I was like, shit, what if I have to drive back? Our daughter was like 8 at the time.
So you came back quick.
Yeah, I was worried that if we had to drive back, hotels would be closed. So we flew back after 4 days and then opened the firm May 1st of 2020. didn't know hardly anyone in the area. And
You guys were living where originally?
we were in California.
Okay. So many firms, even, just if you look at, I would say 80% of firms start with referrals, and
Yeah.
there's a referral component. And the only reason I bring this up is that I'm sure if I was to ask you, how easy is it to close a referral versus an online lead?
It's so easy.
They're not the same.
They're not the same.
So people they're building their firm, right? They come to you, they say, I want to do online marketing. And now they're getting online leads and they're wondering why they're not closing them. You have to have a different approach. People that come via referral are much more tolerable to call me back later. They will wait. They are already sold. Somebody has put their name or their reputation on you. So, like, it's not really a sale. So, a lot of firms I see, they get so far if they've built their firm on referrals that they're like shocked that they actually have to sell and service digital leads, because digital leads are not loyal to you that way.
Yeah, we actually, during our sales calls with attorneys when they're calling for marketing, we're very upfront about that, right? Because we ask, okay, what's your, we're just doing the whole sales pitch, how case value and what's your closing percentage, and I close 80 to 90%. No, okay,
That's like a gold standard.
yeah. I was like, okay, we're just like, okay, we got to pump the brakes on that a little bit, give them a little reality check. Okay, these leads, if you're closing 30 to 40% of them, you should be very happy.
Yes.
Yeah.
All of this, I think every one of the things we're talking about today is a learnable skill, and all of business is just learning these skills and just wanting to be curious enough to get better at these things. That's all you have to do. And there's so many places you can go to learn. For me, like, you have to start with intake. Marketing has to be there. And then the other place I see a lot of people struggle is, the leadership and management of people.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Oh, managing people, that's where the rubber meets the road. I think that's what prevents a lot of people from scaling their business. You talked a little bit about like finding great people and putting them in great seats. That's a skill. And having the wherewithal to hire people that are smarter than you. That's something that many people struggle with. They want to hire what I call a cast of assistants.
Yeah.
I didn't even like tell you what that means, and I think you know what that means.
Totally. 100%. Yeah, we've had the opposite viewpoint, right? It's like, we need people. Okay, I need a salesperson that's better, right? I need an operations manager who's better than I am. Yeah.
But I think people are insecure. I know there was a time when I used to think like, how am I going to get people that are better than me to come want to work for me? Like, you have imposter syndrome, right?
Yeah.
And you think like, if they're better than me, how will I manage them? How will I know if they know things that I don't know, if they're doing their job? Like, there's a lot of insecurity around this topic. And I think until you have a couple people that really change your mind or like blow your mind, it's hard to even imagine if you've never experienced it. Like, one great employee can like change your life and expand your point of view. Just like one really bad one can also wreck your mindset. But, I think part of it is the willingness to just try. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to get this wrong. Maybe the first time I hired an attorney, it was the wrong attorney. It was like 2 or 3 hires till I got the attorneys I eventually had. That took years.
The amount of bad hires that we've had. Oh my God.
It's just like, it's really painful. I want to like say like how brutal it was.
It's nasty, isn't it? And then when you keep them around for too long, it's like, I can't live without this person. they're fucking
It's
tearing my life apart. But
toxic. It's brutal. I remember one day I came in and 2 people I hired that I knew I shouldn't have hired together that were friends quit in the same week. I mean, yeah, just to be an entrepreneur, you have to be able to endure these constant like setbacks. And if you just accept that this is the nature of the beast and it is what it is, and ultimately through hacking away, you will get to the top of the mountain, but it's going to be painful at times. And there's going to be times when you're an entrepreneur and you have total freedom and you can do whatever you want. And then there's times when you're like the intake manager again.
yep, yep. You know, with managing, just like, just like sales, just like doing legal work, all that's anything, it's managing is a skill that is trainable, right? So you can learn to be a good manager. And I think one of the big things that we really put in is allowing, or not allowing, but enforcing that our employees make decisions. They
Mm,
don't come to us. They don't come to management with problems. They may have a problem, right? They may have a problem. They need to figure out the solution, do the solution, and then come to us with the information on what the situation was and what they did to handle it. Not demands for decisions, right? It's like, hey, I
yeah.
have this problem. What should I do? Okay. As soon as we hear that, we have an employee that comes and says, hey, this is what's going on. What should I do? It's like, you tell me. Okay.
Yeah. Because that's how you empower people, right?
Right.
And sometimes people are afraid to have to be the one to make that decision or like the hard call. And I think you have to let them endure and carry that. It's like this is your department. You have to own the success and failure of marketing. You have to own the success and failure of intake. You're the intake director. You have to own it. And this is where a lot of lawyers are really bad delegators. Almost everything that it takes to be a great lawyer is the opposite of what it takes to be a great entrepreneur. So I think naturally this makes sense why you see this problem. Analysis paralysis,
Yeah.
lack of delegation. Those are things that will kill a business.
Well, there's also the added um, ethics rules and bar rules,
Those fun things.
Yeah, right. It's like now you have the attorneys they get paralyzed because I don't want to break any rules. Now it's my license on the line if I do X, Y, and Z. And I've heard countless attorneys say I'm afraid to hire non-attorney salespeople because of the bar rules and yeah. So
You
that
know, I think you have to say as a leader, like I would tell people, we have a couple catastrophic failures I'd like to avoid. Number one, let's not miss a statute. Number two, let's make sure that we do these key ethical things in personal injury that are kind of like the main things, like messing with people's money. Mostly everything else we could fix.
yeah, yeah, yeah. There's very little things that could screw it up. So um what did you do? So personal injury is a tough space for marketing.
That's what they tell me. It's all I've ever known.
Well, it's expensive, right? Digital marketing is expensive for personal injury. So you started out with referrals.
I started out with referrals. We did social media since 2014.
What kind
Um,
of social media were you running, ads or just
I
posting?
was running ads, posting. In 2020, I decided to do the Gary Vee thing where I post a video every single day for 365 days a year. I also then built a personal brand. So what I found is more people wanted to follow me as Jenn Gore lawyer than even ATL law. And so my brand really exploded when I built myself as a personal brand and I became a thought leader in the space. And we did SEO, we did a lot of media, we did a lot of publicity. A thing that can supercharge your SEO is doing a PR campaign where you're getting lots of media from other sources. I wrote a book, we did podcasts, did newsletters. There's so many different channels that you can do. I never wanted to have all my eggs in one marketing channel.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you hire a PR firm?
We did it.
You
Well,
did it?
over the years, we did work with PR people, and I think they can be great if you get the right people. But I always thought of ourselves as our own PR machine. So everything we did, we leveraged into another way to create content around it and to like make everything a PR like stunt, right?
Yeah.
And so, if you have that marketing mindset, everything becomes a piece of content.
Did you have, so we're like, our law firm is heavily on Google's tip. Like,
And I'm saying, I think that we all need to have very simple things. Like everyone should have a back end newsletter. I mean, your list, I have a list of over 15,000 people that I had cultivated over many years. When I launched this business, that list still exists. You never want to be saturated in one marketing channel because things can change overnight. And I've seen that. And at the end of the day, people need to be hit on a multi-channel sequence. They need to see you in multiple different things.
Yeah.
I think our time is up now.
All right. All right. Sounds good. I'll talk to you.
For hours. We could get into 5 more topics.
I know, right? I'll talk to you all day. Cool. Well, let's end off there.
Yes.
It was fantastic talking to you. And thank you for being on. I'm sure
thanks for having me. And I would love to come back. We can talk about all kinds of other things. So many great overlap between what you're doing, what I'm doing, and just truly learning from people that have done this every single day. Like this is really good content. And if I was just like, I wish I had heard something like this when I was just starting my own firm.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, it was nice to meet you. And thanks again. Have a good day, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.